Good morning, everyone. So, I am going to be going over my Labrynth Unchained deck. I've only seen one other YouTuber actually going over this, and they went with a slightly lighter Unchained package. So, we're going to show off a little bit of a heavier Unchained package this morning. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do some recordings. I'm not going to do any live gameplay this morning just because I don't really feel like getting into a 30-minute mirror match and turning what's already going to be a long video into an even longer one. So, we'll go over a full deck profile at the end, but let's go on and get into the gameplay. Alright, first game. We are going first, which is great. So, this is actually a really good hand. So we're going to set our trap, pop the trap with the red dog. It's going to get Veilered for some reason. That was a stupid move on my opponent's part. But trap is going to summon the blue dog from the deck. Going to link 2 into Yama. And the red dog are going to activate. So Yama is going to add us a second red dog from deck to hand. This is an earlier build, so I was still running 2 of the reds. Blue dog's going to pop Yama. I'm going to pitch Clue Clock, and then the Chandelier. Chandelier is going to add a Big Welcome to hand. Clue Clock is going to make it so we have a target for Big Welcome. Big Welcome's about to summon our Lovely. Alright, Clue Clock back to hand. Lovely's effect is going to hand rip, and Chandelier's coming back to hand. Alright, hand rip. And we now know that that was a Synchron. So we're playing Synchrons. That's fun. Or Snake Eye. We don't know yet. Gonna set Terrors of the Overroot instead of Big Welcome. And carry on. We do have 2 disruptions. Plus another discard and set. So we'll be able to still use a Labrynth trap this turn. It is Snake Eye, so we get Duel Star, grab an original Sinful, send in Duel Star, normal, special summon Ash. Wow. Okay, so we go escape, destroy our blue dog, and Snake Eye Ash. They're gonna get their Poplar, but they don't get to use Ash's effect. But he's smart, and he's gonna use Oak. I probably should have waited. That's okay. Yeah, we hit Poplar with Lovely's effect. Alright, so we're gonna use Terrors to send Oak and set his Ash, so both effects are gonna fizzle. And that should end his turn. Oh yeah, he's gonna draw. So Seeker's gonna put original back. I'm gonna use Coup Clock and Chandelier again, dump the red dog, so we get another set to the field. So, setting 2 traps. So, set another Big Welcome. Coup Clock is going to, but they're going to banish Coup Clock for some reason. Once again, probably a bad call. Should have hit the red dog, dude. Should have hit the red dog. Now, once again, this is an earlier build. I was only running 1 of each of the traps. Bump that up to 2 so I can go a little bit harder on my extensions. So, he's going to use Field Spell, place Snaky Boy in the back row. We're going to bounce the Field Spell in the end phase so he can't use it against me when I summon next turn. Draw called by. Alright, going to reset that and go into battle. Hit his Ash. Use Big Welcome. Grab Arius, bounce Arius. Lovely is going to rip. Chandelier is going to add itself back to hand. And there goes his field spell that we just bounced back to his hands. Chandelier's pitch Arius to grave, grab us a field spell. Set. That's interesting. That shouldn't have happened. Yeah, he's out. he knew that he was in trouble. Okay. On to the next one. Alright, on to the next game. Okay, so once again, going first. Pretty great. Still an earlier build, so we're going to normal summon Ariana. Grab ourselves a Stovitober. Pitch Coup Clock and Stovey with rollback to the grave. Arius isn't really doing much because we don't have a target for escape at the moment. That's okay. So Ku-Klok going to add itself back to hand because we don't care. Big Welcome is going to summon and it's going to get ashed, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Because we got transaction rollback in the grave. So, joke's on you, I'm not scared of Ash Blossom anymore. Lovely's coming out anyway. And bouncing Ariana back to hand. Lovely's going to hand rip, and Stovey's going to get on the field. That was Tearlaments. Playing against Tearlaments. That's fun. Set both our traps. Link 2 into Yama. So there's our access to Unchained Monster. So we're going to use Shavara, pop the trap. Trap's going to summon a blue dog. Going to go into Rage. Okay. Shavara is going to add the other trap to hand, and we're going to end our turn. So with my later builds, I would have just set another escape. That way I'd have an interruption out of this, but that's okay. So we got Kashtira. I'm going to pitch Arius and summon Ariana. So Unicorn. I already saw your Tearlaments card, dude. I know that this is bait. Alright, so I care a little bit less about my extra deck on this turn, but just to prevent him yoinking my thing, I'm going to rage his stuff and go into Nightmare Unicorn. So Lovely's going to summon herself. I'm going to get one draw out of that there, guy. I'm going to shuffle your field spell back into the deck, and there's Shiren. So Shiren's going to dump Snow and Rhino Heart. They are absolutely going to pop off. This guy is the best Tearlaments player in the world, except I do win this game. So Tearlaments are going to do Tearlaments things. We're going to hit him with another Big Welcome Labrynth and chain the Lovely, because I know you can't interrupt me on that one. Set evenly matched. I fully intend to destroy that. And Lovely's coming out. And we're going to bounce Ariana back to hand again. Tearlaments Kashtira gets dumped to grave, which is going to send the top two cards to the graveyard. And we don't want to destroy their stuff on the field, so we're going to hit the one in their hand. And it was Needlebug Nest. Kit is going to do its Kit things. We're going to hit him with an Abominable Chamber to grab Yama. Yama is going to add back whenever we get a deck. Let's grab Shavara. Yep, Shavara back to hand. Why are you so quiet? Huh. Alright, there we go. Okay, so Snow's coming out. Snow's going to flip our stuff face down. This dude just really does not like Lovely Labrynth. Alright, so Time Thief is going to steal our Max C. And it's our turn again, so we're going to use Shavara, pop Yama. He's going to shuffle all my stuff back, which is alright. Pop his back row. Of course, we hit the wrong one. It's Meta Noise. So, Meta Noise is going to flip another one of our cards face down. Normal summon Ariana again. Here comes Havness. Havness is going to mill 3. Ariana is going to grab us another Big Welcome. Ku-Klok. Pitch. And Big Welcome's coming back. Love Lady Labrynth. Going to grab us another card. And Daruma. Alright, Lovely's coming back. And Ariana's going back to hand again. Keep Keep our Ariana safe. Lovely's gonna rip. They're gonna, ooh, they have their own transaction rollback. Snuck that one in there. And they're gonna flip Lovely face down again. Like I said, this dude just really does not like Lovely Labrynth. And I hit his other back row, which also happens to be a transaction rollback. The dude knew what he was doing. So he's gonna Fusion 3 into Lido Heart. And like I said, the dude, he does not like Lovely. But that's okay. We have an 8-2. Counting to 10. Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is going to get rid of your most annoying boss monster. Goodbye, Kaleido Heart. And then we're going to link 3 into the Red Dog. It's Anguish. Anguish is here. Gonna yoink Havness into the Unchained Abomination. So Shiyama is gonna pop our evenly matched and get over there. So Time Thief is going to do its Time Thief things. And we're gonna go to Snow. Snow's gonna flip down our Chaos Angel, which is annoying. That's okay. And then we can pop that, and then hit him for 2k. But that's the end of our turn. Time Thief's coming back, but joke's on you. I didn't use my end phase pop yet, so Time Thief's gone forever now. No more of that shenanigans for you, sir. Top deck Scream and hits me with a transaction rollback. Well, Needlebug Nest, so he can mill 5. The dude is addicted to milling. And here comes Kid Close again. Like I said, addicted to milling. You need to see somebody about your gambling problems, sir. Opponent is going to mill one of your little guys again and hit a Shuffler and King of the Swamp. Those are going back to the deck again, and here comes Rucolos. Oh yeah, not Rucolos. Millenniumized Restrict. Shuffle back into the deck. And Restrict is going to grab Unchained Abomination. Which is unfortunate. That's okay. Stovey Torby is finally going to get rid of that Ariana that I've been using every single turn. To set our third Big Welcome Labrynth. Okay. Tier Limits Cash and Kit Close are going to mill. And Kuklock is going to come back to our hand, but Shuffler's going to hit more of our Labrynth cards. Thinks he's being slick, but he's not paying attention to his count. And you'll see why here in a minute. So, Cash mills 3, Kit mills 5. Hey, look at that. He doesn't have any cards left in his deck. So I take a little bit of damage here. It hurts. But I happen to notice. So I'm just like, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter what I do. However, I'm going to go Lovely. Bounce Lovely back to hand. And in my turn. Doesn't matter, but see somebody about your gambling addiction, sir. That's game. On to the next one. Alright, last replay. We are going second this time. And this is with a more recent build of the decks. I think I'm running both traps. Multiple copies of the traps now. So, starting off with Ecclesia, and we're going to Ash him. I think this is actually a mirror match. So, Ash the Ecclesia. And set 3 and pass. Alright. It is a mirror match, so I did get some good footage of the mirror, so we're going to go back C. And he's going to hit us with a Lady Labrynth. Alright, Lovely is here. Equation's coming back to hand. You're going to rip one out of our hand. We're going to make sure it's not Lady, but I was just like, oh crap, that just means he could snipe Lady while it's on the field, which sucks. But I think he didn't pay attention and hit our call by. Honestly, that's alright. Set 2. Go Ariana and grab Kuklock. Kuklock is going to pitch. And then we're going to go for transaction rollback and steal his, his big welcome. Transaction rollback being used for its first intended purpose in the mirror match, which is great. Rollback is going to grab us our lovely Labrynth. pitch Ariana back to hand. Late is going to drop his Dogmatic Punishment and reset transaction rollback. Then we're going to link 2 into Yama. He's got Daruma, which sucks, but Yama's effect is still going to go off. Okay, Shavara is here. Shavara will pop our transaction rollback, giving us Banish for Yama, and Lady is back. So we're going to hit their Lovely and their Lady. And all of a sudden, it's 4-3. I'm going to link 2 into Rage, and then we're going to pass. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part. So we're going to set Escape, and then we're going to pass. We get 2 interruptions, technically. Here we go. Welcome, Labrynth. I'm going to use that, pitch another transaction roll back to Grave. I'm going to grab their field spell. Grab Lady Labrynth. I'm going to summon Ecclesia. Grab another copy of Punishment. They really want to use Punishment on me. So there's Labrynth. We're going to use Escape with the Unchained, pop Rage, and the field spell. They're going to use Transaction Rollback on Big Welcome. Grab Lovely back. Escape's going to pop those 2. I think Lovely's... I don't remember what Lovely's going to pop here, but Chandelier's coming back. Rage is going to add Shavara back to our hand. Yep, they do pop that one. I think they've got me. Transaction rollback. Yep. Grab Arius. Pitch Arius. Ariana. Ariana's going to grab a Stovey. Stovey's pitches that. Go for a big welcome over here. Our first big welcome. And then Shavara's going to add our other spell. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, going to grab Abominable Chamber. They're going to hit us with Ariana, but we're going to go Coup Clock. They're going to try and bounce our Unchained thingy, but that's going to give us Arius. Oh, changing attack targets. Gonna go for Lovely. Bouncing Arius back to hand. And grabbing Stovey from the grave, and Lovely's rep. Stovey gets summoning. Destroy that. You got nothing to get over my stuff with anymore. Set 1, pass. Back to us. Another transaction rollback. We're both getting kind of low, looking like Dynamorphia over here. Big welcome. It's going to bounce. And then we're going to use Stovey to set the field spell. Use Dogmatic Punishment, trying to pop 2. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, you return it to hand. You silly guy. But that's okay, because Coup Clock is coming back. Alright, it is now our main phase 1. That was all in the draw phase. Alright, so we use set the trap, use Arius to resummon Lovely, use Coup Clock so we can activate Abominable Chamber, which is, and he's out. He's like, oh crap, that did nothing. So, on to the deck profile. Alright, here we are. Our deck profile, running 43 cards in the main. Let's go over engine first. So we're running 1 Coup Clock. Coup Clock is incredibly good. You can run it at 2. The latest build is running it at 1, just because we aren't seeing very many Bystials around at the moment. That might change with how much Lab is now running around again. But anyways, I'm going to be running 2 of the furniture each. Both have basically the same effect in the hand or on the field. You can pitch them and another card in your hand to set any Labrynth spell or trap from your deck. The big difference is whenever a monster leaves the field due to your normal trap card, Stovey gets summoned to the field, whereas Chandelier goes back to the hand. Stovey is really good because then you can use him for extra bodies for your link plays. So Ariane, didn't actually get to see her in the replays, but she effectively functions as a double body if you have any trap card in your hand. So you discard any trap that's on your field or in your hand to the graveyard and summon level 4 or lower fiends from the deck. So they can be Stovey, it could be Chandelier. It's usually going to be Ariana, because Ariana can then summon and grab one of the others. So while we're on the subject of Ariana and Ariane, they both have very similar effects when it comes to them being already on the field. So if a monster leaves the field, you can draw a card and then either special summon a fiend monster or set a trap. The big difference is Ariane can do both. She can do her summon and the draw/set, whereas Ariana can only do her search or the summon/set. So Ariana can grab you pretty much any of your Labrynth cards. She's a really, really good normal summon in the deck. So we are gonna grab, we have one each of our new Unchained doggies. So Sharvara, you can target a fiend monster or one face down card you control, destroy it, and then special summon this card. Does lock you into fiends, but that's okay. If it's in the graveyard, you can set an Unchained spell, or you can set an Unchained spell or trap from your deck, and you can use both of them in one turn, which is great. Shiyama, you're usually summoning off the pop of one of your traps because I'm not going to tribute summon this thing. So once it's on the field, it does have some spell and trap removal. You have to destroy a card you control, and then you can destroy one spell or trap on the field. Doesn't have to be yours, can be one of theirs, which is great. And then it does have some graveyard recursion, where you can target basically the same thing as Sharvara, but it does it from the graveyard. But if you do that, it goes on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. You can get around that by going into Wave High King Caesar, where it's no longer technically on the field when it gets detached. So you can keep using it over and over as long as you've got High King Caesar. However, if it does go back to the deck, no big deal, because then you can just summon it back out with one of your Unchained traps. Running 2 of Arius Labrynth Butler just to increase the chance of seeing her in the hand. You can, during either player's turn, send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and summon a Labrynth monster from your hand, or set one normal trap in your hand. The normal trap can be activated this turn, so it's very similar effect to Kuklok, but it has to be the one you put there, whereas Kuklok can do any of the cards you currently have on the field that have been set this turn. And she gets some recursion as well, because when your opponent acts for a card or effect in response to the activation of a normal trap or a Labrynth card, whether that's a monster, spell, trap, anything, you do anything to respond, Arius is coming back to the field, which means she can use her effect to send again, or you can use her, because she is a level 6, you can use her with one of your level 4s to go in Chaos Angel. I did do that in one of the games. I didn't show that replay though. So on to our double boss monsters. So we got Lovely Labrynth. Her big first effect is she turns off monster effects in response to your trap cards. So you get her on the field and they can't ash your traps anymore, which is great. And then you can reset a trap. It does turn off the trap unless you control a fiend, which isn't a huge deal, because if we have any monsters on the field, it's going to be a fiend. And then if a monster leaves the field by a normal trap, you can destroy a card in their hand or on their field. Lady Labrynth is untargetable and indestructible while we control any set card. Doesn't have to be a spell or trap. We could set Max C and make this thing untargetable and indestructible. If a Labrynth card or effect or a normal trap card is activated, you can summon it from your hand. And when a normal trap card is activated, quick effect, you could set a normal trap with a different name from your deck. Keep in mind that this is a win, so if your opponent activates something in response to one of your traps, you're going to miss that. It's not going to happen. Run 2 of the field spell. So this basically adds a effect to the end of your trap cards. So if it is a Welcome Labrynth spell, so the two main spells, regular Welcome and Big Welcome, you can destroy a card on the field, But if it's a non-Labrynth trap, you can special summon a fiend monster from your hand or graveyard, which is great for getting back the dogs or any of your Chaos Angel. It's great. And you can use each. So if you activated Welcome and a non-Welcome, you can use both effects, which is great. So, traps. Run D-Barrier. I had taken this out for a little while, but then I kept running into Tyr and Sword Soul and Kashtira and whatever. So, it's coming back. I need I need something to slow them down. Arius, with with this in hand, is really funny. Stopping their turn on turn 0. Evenly matched, usually a really good target in the graveyard for transaction rollback, or if we're going second, just wiping their board. Evenly matched is great in this meta. Bumped Imperm down to 1 because I'm just going to be searching for it off of Lady. I am running 2 of Escape and Abominable. Those are my Unchained cards, and that's purely just because I want to be able to use Sharvara as much as I can, and having one didn't feel right, because you usually go through both of them in a turn, and I'd like to use Escape for its intended purpose. I may bump this down to 1, but it's just in case. I do like the recursion, the reborn off of this. So, going over their actual effects, Escape targets an Unchained monster you control and a card on the field, destroy both, so you get either monster or spell trap removal. And then Abominable Chamber is basically Monster Reborn, and they both share a secondary effect where if they are face down and destroyed, you can summon a Abominable Chamber, Abominable Unchained Soul from the deck, which is great. Next we got Dogmatic Punishment. Got a couple of targets in the extra deck for that. It does turn off the extra deck for the rest of the turn, which is until the end of your next turn. So it turns your extra deck off for 2 turns, which is no bueno. This is best used on the opponent's turn. So unless you are really hard up for removal, it's best to you just save this for the opponent's turn. That way you're only locked out for 1. Ice Dragon's Prison, for a very similar reason that I'm running D-Barrier. There are a lot of themed decks running around, whether that is Labrynth, works great in the mirror, works great against Snake Eyes because you can banish 2 of their little guys, works great against Kashtira because all of their guys are psychics, right? Psychics? Whatever. All of their normal ones, but banishing doesn't do much to Kashtira. It is helpful for getting rid of Shangri-Ira, though. Welcome Lab. It's special from the deck. Specifically the deck. It does lock you into fiends from the extra deck, which is not a huge deal. But if a monster leaves the field by a normal trap card, you can reset this thing, which is why I only run it at 1. Terrors. So, actually, am I still running more than... Okay, I am going to swap this out for the glossy. Anyways, Terrors targets a card your opponent controls and 1 card in their graveyard and switches them. So, it's great targeted removal without destroying, which is great because a lot of cards in this meta don't want to be popped. Daruma Karma Cannon, one of the most powerful trap cards in the deck, so you change as many face monsters on the field as possible to face down, and then if anything was affected and remains face up, the player must send the cards that control to the graveyard, so it gets around a lot of protection effects. Highly recommend getting this card if you don't have it. Our main searcher in the deck, Big Welcome Labrynth, summons a Labrynth monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and then returns any monster you control to the hand. So, any monster it doesn't have to be a Labrynth monster. You could have a Maxi on the field, and you can still bounce it back with Welcome Lab. And then secondary effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target a fiend monster you control, or if you've got one of the big ladies on the field, you could target a card your opponent controls instead and return it to the hand. And you can only use either effect. You can't use both in 1 turn, which is okay. And then last but not least, we have Transaction Rollback, which the first effect is effective in the mirror. You saw that. So you copy a trap card in your opponent's graveyard, or if this card is in your graveyard, you copy a trap card in your graveyard, which is great because then you can Daruma them. If they wiped your field, you can evenly match them, and they have to banish every card they control face down. That one's really funny. I wish I'd gotten that on a recording, but I have done it. And then, so non-engine, we're playing a couple of traps, or hand traps in the deck. So run 2 Maxi, 2 Ash Blossom, 2 Called By, and 1 Crossout. So basically just the Maxi package in here. I guess technically Imperm is non-engine, but we are using it in our trap engine. So, alright, on to the extra decks. So, Intis and Malong are extra punishment targets. Intis can effectively pop 2, 1 off the effect of punishment, and then 1 off its own effect. And then Malong will pop 1 off of punishment, and then bounce back to the hand. Chaos Angel is very easily made. You won't get its full effect because we aren't running any light monsters, but you can use either one of your big ladies and Stovey, or you can use Arius and then either of the girls to make Chaos Angel, and she will protect your entire field from battle destruction and banish a card on the field, and then you can link her away if you want, because then you can just use your field spell or Yama to get her back onto the field and banish her again. We don't really care about the battle protection effect. You can pop our cards, that's fine. We like the recursion anyways. Beatrice. Beatrice is great for sending transaction rollback or the red dog to the grave. Make her using either, if you're not going into Yama, you can make her using the dogs or Arius in one of the dogs, because you do have the level 6s. Speaking of level 6s, you do have DDD Wave King High Caesar here, which is a special summon negate, so it's Solemn Strike on legs, and then we don't have any more DDD cards, so it's basically just Solemn Strike on legs. Running 2 Unchained Soul Rage, which you can link on your opponent's turn using a special summon monster, and you can also add a fiend from your graveyard back to your hand if this thing gets destroyed. So you can usually you pop it with Escape, which will then let you add one of your fiends back to your hand. Could be Shavara, it could be Lady, it could be Ariana, could be any of them, it doesn't really matter. And then if you did your full combo and you have Yama in the grave, Yama can then banish and then resummon your rage back to the field, so you effectively lose no resources and you went plus from moving a card from a graveyard back to your hand. Alright, the Dark Charmer, really useful when you're facing its dark decks, and link climbing. Usually just going into Goddess with that, or Unicorn. Muckraker, any 2 effect monsters can go into this thing, and you can discard a card from your hand to reborn a Fiend monster, which is great for bringing back your Chaos Angel, or one of your ladies. And she also provides battle protection from your whole field, because if any monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you contribute a Fiend monster instead, which would usually be her. Running 2 Unchained Soul, Lord of Yama, so any 2 Fiends, which is good, basically any of our monsters except the hand traps. And if it's special summoned, you can summon an Unchained monster from your deck or graveyard, which is great. And if a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while the card's in the graveyard, you can banish a card and banish this card and special summon any fiend from your hand or graveyard. And then you can destroy a card you control. Doesn't often come up on that, but if we do have one, like say the other trap, you can do it there and summon another Unchained monster from the deck. Nightmare Unicorn, good for on your opponent's turn links, discard a card, shuffle a card back into the deck. Red Dog, if you're doing your link summons on your turn, you can link with one of your opponent's monsters and link climb with their stuff. And it also has the adding back to hand that Rage does. So Unchained A-Bomb, there's our link 4. You do need a link monster for that, but that's fine because you can either do it with Unicorn or Anguish, and then if you do it with Unicorn, you do need... Actually, no, it's got generic materials, so you can do it with either one of these plus any monster. And then A-Bomb, basically, anytime cards on the field, any card is destroyed on the field, it gets destroyed, you can target it once during any part of the turn and destroy a card, and then at the end phase, you can destroy a card. And it loves just wrecking face. And then Goddess, the White Woman jump scare, needs 4 monsters. And you can use one of your opponent's monsters as link material for this as well. negates the effects of all monsters your opponent controls, and turns off their graveyard. And is also unaffected unless they specifically target her, which is great. Anyways, that is my deck profile for Labrynth Unchained. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe on the video, and I'll see you next time.